One of the most overlooked things in PC builds is probably the storage. We know we need it, but if it works, right? What more is there to it? Well, it turns out there's actually quite a lot to it. I've teamed up with some of the smartest heads over at Kingston so we can get as much useful information in this video as possible. After you've watched this video, you'll hopefully think twice before buying the cheapest HDD hard disk and throw it in your system. You might have come across a few different names for storage, so let's run through them. We usually use the term hard disk and SSD as the same thing, which technically they're not. Hard disk refers to the older types of storage where data is being written and read on a magnetic spinning disk. SSD, on the other hand, uses integrated circuits to store data. The NAND flash drive can also be found in other data storage devices, such as USBs and SD cards. The NVMe SSD is a type of storage that's placed directly on the motherboard. And you will always see us use NVMe SSDs for Windows on a computer here at Shark Gaming. I'll use the word hard disk as a broad term covering both the NVMe SSDs, the SSDs and the HDD hard disks. So what's the difference and what difference does it make for a gamer? The HDD is the oldest and by far the slowest of the technologies. Today, the only real use for an HDD hard disk is for passive storage. And by passive storage, I mean stuff you don't use. You can keep your pictures, video files and such there, but don't even think about doing video editing with files on an HDD hard disk. The SSD is what you want for everyday use in terms of storage. Games you play should be run from an SSD. I remember having load times between 1 and 2 minutes loading up Dota 2 when I had the game installed on an HDD hard drive. And then switching it to an SSD, it went down to around 10 seconds. Accessing data on an SSD is so much faster. An SSD comes in different qualities and speeds, so a faster SSD can reduce game loading times and also accelerate in-game assets loading times. Game installations are faster, games save faster, they load faster, and moving between zones is just faster. So why is this? Well, an SSD, and particularly a fast one, reads and writes data faster. Having an NVMe SSD lodged into your motherboard gives access to data at a much higher speed, 2000 megabytes per second read-write speed compared to the 600 megabytes per second for the regular SSD. That's why having your operating system on an NVMe SSD makes sense. It provides faster boot time, faster processing of data by reduced latency, and the capacity to handle much more transactions of small files which are being sent and accessed by the host system. So there you have it. SSD good, NVMe SSD best. And for the love of sharks, don't use the HDD hard drive for anything other than storage.